Welcome back to Big Bill Anderson's Life Tours. My friends, it's been a while since I posted a video, and for that I apologize. I am here today in Riverside, California at the Riverside National Cemetery for Veterans, and I'm here to pay my respects to one of the legends of professional wrestling. Is about the best way to describe this man. This is a location also that, thanks to one individual, retired pro wrestler Paul Maurer, told me that this man was buried here. Not one of my friends that I knew for the last 30 or 40 years told me where this man, Dr. Jerry Graham, is buried right here at Riverside National Cemetery, amongst a lot of fallen heroes from military service for our great country. And Dr. Jerry was very proud of his service. And here he is. As far as I know, I'm the first person to document the exact location of Jerry's resting spot. If you look at his Find a Grave page, it says he was cremated and ashes returned to family or friends. That is not accurate. They're even on the Riverside National website for Riverside National Cemetery, says no grave photo. Well, I will rectify all of that today and give this man the dues that he deserves. Dr. Jerry was my manager back in 1986, along with my partner Tim Patterson. Jerry managed us. We were the Hollywood Blondes around California. I had blonde hair. I'll show you the pictures with Dr. Jerry in this video, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about, well, actually quite a bit about Dr. Jerry Graham. He was quite a character in and out of the ring, and one of the oldest sayings in professional wrestling was, and any veteran wrestler that's listening to this will get a chuckle, the saying goes, any Dr. Jerry Graham story you ever hear is true. This man did it all, in and out of the ring. Like I say, he was a character, but a legendary character, and a man I respect, and thank God, and the help of some great people that work here at this cemetery, I was able to find his grave today, because it wasn't really that easy to do. You see, all the headstones are flat in this cemetery, and the gentleman that was helping me really wasn't familiar with the numbers that are on Jerry's grave. It was oddly numbered on the Find a Grave page for the cemetery. It had an odd number there that no one was familiar with, but my man here at the cemetery stayed true to me and my purpose of finding Jerry Graham's grave, and found it for me here as we walked along. Dr. Jerry Graham. So, my friends, I won't bore you with having to look at my face too long. It's a very chilly day out here in Riverside. You can see the sky. It's been raining, overcast. Went through miles and miles of traffic to get here. Drove in from Phoenix, Arizona. My very first stop on a 4-day life tour of going to some great spots, visit some great characters in entertainment and in wrestling. My very first stop was right here at Dr. Jerry Graham's gravesite. So stay with me, my friends. I'm going to tell you all about him.
Jerry Graham was born Jerry Martin Matthews on December 16, 1928 in Woodward, Oklahoma. He was adopted by his stepfather, Harold Graham, and his name was legally changed to Jerry Martin Graham. He falsified his age to enlist in World War II, where he served with the 82nd Airborne Division paratroopers, although his headstone says PFC U.S. Army. Most sources list Jerry's birth year as 1921, but that is incorrect. After the war, he attended Phoenix College and Arizona State University, as well as beginning a career in professional wrestling. Dr. Jerry was also a licensed hypnotist. He was the founder of the Storyline Graham wrestling family, which included Eddie Graham, Edward Gossett, Crazy Luke Graham, James Grady Johnson, Superstar Billy Graham, Wayne Coleman, and Mike Graham, Mike Gossett. Along with Eddie, Jerry sold out Madison Square Garden many times in the 1950s and late 1960s, when they were known as the Golden Grahams. After his tag team success, Dr. Jerry brought Crazy Luke Graham and Superstar Billy Graham into the Graham family. Graham feuded with Nature Boy Buddy Rogers in 1956. On November 19, 1957, Jerry and Dick the Bruiser wrestled Antonio Rocca and Eduardo Carpentier at Madison Square Garden. During the match, a major riot exploded and many fans were arrested, with 8 police officers being injured from chairs that were thrown by fans. All of the wrestlers during the match were fined, and Dick the Bruiser was banned for life from wrestling in New York. Graham smoked his ever-present cigar while being admonished by the judge. When Dr. Jerry wrestled Bruno Sammartino for the Worldwide Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Championship in Madison Square Garden, the arena was so packed that more than 10,000 fans were turned away. He held the WWF United States Tag Team Championship 5 times, 4 with brother Eddie and 1 with brother Crazy Luke. For as long as I can remember, there's been a saying in professional wrestling that every Dr. Jerry Graham story you hear is true. There have been many outrageous characters in wrestling, with out-of-the-ring outrageous shenanigans. Jerry Graham had long suffered from alcoholism and depression, and one of the biggest and truest Dr. Jerry Graham stories is this. On August 14, 1968, Jerry was notified that his 70-year-old mother had had a heart attack and was in Phoenix Good Samaritan Hospital. Jerry called the hospital and warned the doctor that she better get well. Unfortunately, she died later that day. Jerry came to the hospital a few hours later with his 12-year-old son Jimmy and an 8-inch long hunting knife, a .38 caliber revolver, and a 12-gauge shotgun in a golf bag. Jerry went to the intensive care unit to see his mother. A nurse told him that he could not see the body. Jerry knocked her out of the way. He proceeded to pick up the body of his mother, put her over his shoulder. A doctor confronted Jerry, and he shot at him once with a .38, but missed him. Hospital personnel started scattering from the chaos. Soon a security guard grabbed a hold of Graham and was thrown across the floor. The guard got up and tried to tackle Jerry's leg. Jerry just dragged the security guard down the hall and through the emergency room doors, losing his shotgun and .38 in the melee. Jerry and the guard continued their struggle outside of the hospital. Jerry laid his mother on the top of a stack of pallets and turned around to see several police officers approaching. He pulled his hunting knife out and began pacing back and forth, furiously stabbing a utility pole. Jerry said, "Leave me alone. Leave her alone. I just want to take her and bury her." Officers knew that if they got up too close, people would get hurt. So they spent some time talking to him, getting him to calm down. Finally, after several minutes, Jerry quietly surrendered to the police officers. He was put inside a police van and then began banging on the doors so hard the officers thought the doors would come off the hinges. After arriving at the jail, the van was met by 13 police officers. Jerry was quietly taken to a cell. His mother was taken to a funeral home. Jerry's son was taken to family members, as he had requested. In 1986, Dr. Jerry Graham was given the position of manager for myself and Tim Patterson as we were wrestling as the Hollywood Blondes in California, Nevada, Arizona, and Utah. Hanging out with Jerry was cool because Jerry was a real legend in the wrestling business. Jerry told me that he used to light his cigars with $100 bills back in his heyday of the 1950s and 60s. He would then say very calmly, "I wish I had some of those $100 bills back now." As much as Tim and I respected the good doctor as our manager, Jerry really distracted the fans quite a bit from our matches. He would walk around the ring on the floor and grab one of our opponents and throw him into chairs and take another into another part of the building and start fighting with him. This would really divert the fans' attention from what Tim and I were trying to do in the ring. Jerry's wrestling career came to an end on August 29th, 1986 at the Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles. Jerry main evented that night against another legend, Victor Rivera. Tim Patterson and myself were the semi-main event against Mondo Guerrero and Charisma. Jerry was weighing in excess of 400 pounds at the time and could barely move in the ring. I watched his final match from the back row seats. A famous quote from a movie came to mind that I used for my own final time in the ring in 2001. At the end of the 1973 film Magnum Force, starring Clint Eastwood, he says, "A man has got to know his limitations." And that is so true, my friends. Jerry got through his match that night, but it certainly wasn't very glamorous. And not the end that a legendary performer like Jerry Graham really honestly deserved. In 2009, Dr. Jerry was inducted into the Georgia Wrestling Hall of Fame. On March 31st, 2017, Graham was posthumously inducted into the World Wrestling Entertainment Hall of Fame as part of the Legacy Wing. Dr. Jerry Graham died on January 24th, 1997 in hospice care at the age of 68 due to complications from a stroke 6 weeks earlier. At the time of his death, he had 2 surviving sons. During his wrestling career, Dr. Jerry held numerous championship belts, including the Worldwide Wrestling Federation United States Tag Team Championship 5 times, 4 with Brother Eddie and 1 with Luke Graham. The Gulf Coast Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion 1 time. Maple Leaf Wrestling International Tag Team Champions 1 time, with Bulldog Brower as his partner. NWA Southern Heavyweight Champion 2 times. NWA World Tag Team Champion Don McIntyre. The NWA Canadian Tag Team Championship 1 time with Abdullah the Butcher. The NWA World Tag Team Championship 1 time with Abdullah the Butcher. The Stampede Wrestling Tag Team Champions 1 time with Jim Wright as his partner. And the World Wrestling Association World Tag Team Championship twice with Don Kent as his partner. In conclusion, my friends, I want to thank my very, very longtime friend and former wrestler Paul Maurer for letting me know that Jerry was buried here at Riverside National Cemetery. It meant quite a bit to me to come here and pay my respects to a man that I knew through the years and was a great wrestler and competitor in the wrestling business. I also wanted to come here and add photos to his grave and try to straighten out his Find a Grave page for not only the cemetery, Riverside National Cemetery's Find a Grave page, but the United States Find a Grave page that I believe people were misled on, as far as he was cremated and ashes given to family or friends when that wasn't true. So I've helped straighten some of that out. If you look at his Find a Grave page, you now see a photo of his gravestone that I took. Again, I felt it's just out of respect that I wanted Dr. Jerry Graham's final resting place to be known to people. And also on the second wrestling book that I wrote, I included a chapter on Dr. Jerry Graham. My book is called Big Bill Anderson Remembers His Fallen Friends of Wrestling, Volume 1. And in this book, I detailed a lot of my personal relationship with Dr. Jerry Graham. I'll put a link in the description if you would like to purchase the book. And if you like this video, my friends, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and please subscribe if you have not done so. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time out with me to visit Dr. Jerry Graham here today. Like I said, one of the great characters of wrestling. He had his flaws like any man, no different than myself or anyone else. Jerry just did his flaws in a very big way, but he had a heart of gold. I never saw him mistreat a wrestler or a fan personally. He was very nice to everyone, and I was honored to have had him near me by the ring and call him a friend. So thank you, my friends. Have a wonderful day. This is Big Bill Anderson saying, adios, amigos.